The rule for the concert is simple in English. You must be 18 and have a ticket. But with what you know so far, checking two things means an if inside an if. Look at that staircase of indentation just to test two conditions. Enter. It works, but it's clumsy, and it only gets worse with 3 conditions, or 4. There's a way to say and have a ticket right in the same line. And it reads exactly like you'd speak it. 2 little words that combine conditions, and or. You already met not? Now meet its 2 partners. And is strict. Every condition has to be true, or the whole thing is false, or is lenient. If even one condition is true, the whole thing is true, and not, from the A Booleans episode, simply flips a true to a false. 3 words, and together they express almost any rule. Let's flatten that concert check. 1 if, 1 line. Old enough and holding a ticket. Both parts are true, so the combined condition is true. And it reads like the rule on the sign at the door. Enter. Same result as the nested version, but flat and readable. The moment you need 2 things at once, and is your word. Flip 1 part false and watch. Old enough, but no ticket this time. With and. 1 false is all it takes to sync the whole thing. Predict which line prints. Denied. The age was fine, but the ticket was false. And with and, every piece must be true. 1 weak link breaks the chain. Now the opposite mood. You get to rest if it's the weekend or a holiday. With or only 1 needs to be true. It's not the weekend, but it is a holiday. So the whole condition passes on that alone. Sleep in. Or is the forgiving one? It's happy the moment any single condition comes back true. Here's every case, at a glance. And is true in exactly 1 case. When both sides are true, everything else is false. Or is false in exactly 1 case. When both sides are false, everything else is true. Memorize just those 2 exceptions and you know the whole table. The classic use of and. A login only succeeds if the username matches and the password matches. Both must be right. Here they both are. Welcome back. Change either one and fails instantly, dropping you into wrong details. This exact check sits behind every sign-in you've ever done, or doing real work. Members get a discount, and so do first-time buyers. Either group qualifies. This shopper isn't a member, but it's their first order. So or lets them through. Discount applied. When 2 different groups should both get the same treatment, or is how you say it in 1 line. Not turns any condition inside out. Sometimes you want to act when something is false. Rather than compare to false, just say not logged in. It reads as if not logged in, which is exactly the intent. Logged in is false. So not logged-in is true. Please sign in. Clean and direct. Prefer not over-comparing something to false. It reads far more naturally. Real quick. If this is clicking for you, tap that like button. It genuinely helps other beginners find the series. And hit subscribe so the next episode lands right in your feed. And can bound a value from both sides. At least 18 and at most 65. 2 comparisons joined by and to carve out a band. 25 sits comfortably inside it. Working age. By the way, Python also lets you write this as 18 less than or equal age, less than or equal 65. But knowing the and version means you understand what that shortcut really does. And often gates a reward on 2 things. A distinction needs a top score and full attendance. Both are true here. 95, and they showed up. So the reward unlocks distinction. Miss either requirement, and it slips away. That's in doing exactly 1 job, insisting on everything. or covers two paths to the same perk. Members ship free, and so does any order over 100. Not a member, but the cart is 120, so, or waves it through. Free shipping. Two totally different reasons, one outcome. That's the OR pattern in a nutshell. And can check a value stays within limits. A password has to be at least 8 characters and no more than 20. Sunflower is 9. Inside both bounds. So and is satisfied. Length. Okay, every form you fill out runs a check shaped just like this before it accepts your input. Combine tests on the same value. Is n positive and also even? 6 is above 0, and 6 mod 2 is 0. Both halves check out, positive and even. You can stack as many conditions with and as you need. The whole thing is true only when every last one is. Here's where a subtlety hides. Allow working-age adults, or anyone who's a VIP. But mixing and with or raises a question. Which binds tighter? Age is 70, outside the range. But is VIP is true. Guess the outcome, allowed. Here's the rule, and binds tighter than or, just like times binds tighter than plus. So Python reads it as the whole range check, or is SVIP. The VIP part alone was enough. Don't make the reader guess. Group it. Same logic, but now the parentheses spell out exactly what groups with what. The reader no longer has to remember precedence rules. When you mix and with or wrap the parts in parentheses, it costs nothing and prevents real bugs. Allowed. Identical result, but anyone reading it understands it instantly. Clear beats clever every single time. So you can now combine any conditions you like with and, or, and not. But Python does something sneaky when it evaluates them. It's lazy and stops early the moment it knows the answer. That laziness has real, useful consequences, and it's next before you go. The entire Python 0 to Pro playlist is linked in the description. Every episode in order, start to finish. Go bookmark it and binge the rest. So, and needs every condition true, or needs just one and not flips a condition. When you mix and with or, remember and binds tighter, and reach for parentheses to make it obvious. Try this. Set temperature and is raining, and print stay inside only if it's below 10 degrees, or it's raining. 1 if, 1 or. Go. Here's a teaser. Python reads and or expressions left to right and quits the instant the answer is certain. That laziness can actually protect your code from crashing. Next, short-circuiting, and why it's secretly one of your best tools.